Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Well, from you guys reading the title here, you can see that I caught something different over the weekend. On April 8th, day before Easter, I got me an early Easter present. Now, what was it and where was it? That is coming soon. But before, if you guys are not a subscriber yet, if you would, please become a subscriber to the channel and also like the video if you like the content I'm putting out. I'm going to walk you through kind of my day on the water. I was out with my son April 8th, which was Saturday, the Saturday before Easter. We had a good time catching fish, and we caught lots of different species of fish. That's what I want to talk to you guys about, because this was a very unexpected fish, and of all things, I forgot my GoPro. Out of all the times to forget my GoPro, and I told my son that when we got there, and he's like, well, Dad, since you forgot your GoPro, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a real good day. And I was like, I know, we're going to catch something. I ain't going to get it on video. Well, I didn't get nothing on video. So I did get some pictures of them, got some good pictures to show you guys, got some good information to give you guys, and some good baits to talk about. Really just one, actually. That's been about my go-to all year. Pretty much every time I've been out this year, other than a jerkbait in the pits, that has been working for me. So let's get into it. What did I catch, guys? I caught a 25-inch walleye. That's right, a 25-inch walleye, unexpected, on an artificial bait. Here is the picture of the 25-inch walleye. Unfortunately, the 25-inch walleye, well, it was really, really little, so it only weighed 3 pounds, 3 ounces. It should have been about a 6 or 7 pounder, but it was very, very skinny. Now, what did the bait come on? What did the walleye come on? Came on a 2-inch big hammer, on a 2K Jigs finesse nethead, 5th ounce, in a 2-inch big hammer trout color swim bait. 2-inch swim bait right there. Now, how am I working that thing? Basically, I'm throwing it out, letting it hit the bottom, and I'm bringing it up and kind of giving it a couple hops. Depends on what it's doing. And then bringing it back, and right now, the bass are just absolutely loving it. Guys, I tried a wacky rig with it, tried a jig with it. I tried all kinds of other things to go with it. The only other things I could get bit on from anything in the pit was the wacky rig, and then also a split shot, big hammer salt shaker worm on a split shot with a swivel, actually, and then also a weightless fluke. I did not get bit on that, but I did throw it, but did not get bit on it. I got bit on that setup with the big hammer salt shaker worm in Magic Bug in 5-inch, and I also got bit on a Cinco. That's it. That's all I could get bit on. Everything else I tried, they wouldn't touch it. Tried a jig, wouldn't touch it. Every time I'd go back to that big hammer, I'd catch a fish. So altogether, it was a great day, and that's what I love about that 2-inch big hammer, is it catches everything, guys. Just like it caught that 25-inch walleye, it also, my son was with me, and he had one, and he caught 2 crappie and 4 bass. He caught 6 of them, and I caught 2 crappie and 11 bass and the 1 walleye. So altogether, we caught 20 fish all day long. We caught 3 different species. And now let's get into exactly where I caught these fish at and what pit it's at. I know you guys are dying to know what pit this walleye came out of. So let's get into it. And that was an awesome Easter present for me, walleye, because I love walleye. Anybody that's ever ate walleye, I think it's absolutely delicious. I think it is the best tasting fish out there. So now what pit did this come out of, guys? It came out of pit number 42. Yes, pit number 42. The pit I'm talking about is right here. Zoom into it. Right there, going in, zooming into it. It's south of Big Brutus. You go 1 mile south of the Big Brutus boat ramp. Go to the T. Go about a half a mile. I don't know if it's quite a half a mile. Go a half a mile back to the west. The boat ramp is on the north side. The pit runs north. It's got a little section when you put in. It runs north. It kind of goes east and runs north. And then it goes north and then jots back to the west. And then jots back all the way to the north, all the way to the North Road if the water is up. So I'm going to walk you through right now, where did I catch these fish at? Okay, so we started out, we went into the pit, and we went into the east right there. You're going to go into the east, and we started working up the west bank once we went into that east section. West bank's got a lot of laydowns on it, a lot of good structure down and through there. Couldn't find anything, flipped a jig up in there, forgot everything I threw, Texas rig up in there. Couldn't get nothing to work. Got 1 bite on a jerkbait. So I was like, okay, got 1 bite on a jerkbait. I didn't get him in. Don't know how big he was. He felt, about 13, 14 inches. He wasn't nothing giant. I'm nothing really big to brag about. So I'm not really sure how big he was, but he got off. So I was like, okay, there's one on a jerkbait. So I worked back all the way to the north there, to the back of there. Nothing. So then I'm working my way back out. And that's when I started throwing. I picked up the big hammer 2-inch, and started throwing it on the net head, the 2K Jigs Finesse net head, the 6th ounce or 5th ounce. I forget if it's a 6th or a 5th, what I was throwing. And I went out there. I'm working my way down that east bank, very east bank, and I caught a little bass. And I was like, okay, there's one. And then my son's like, Dad, I want one. Dad, I want one. I'm like, just hold on a minute. Just keep trying. And he was throwing the ringer worm. I was like, keep trying that ringer worm. We'll see if anything else bites this and see if we can get, so a pattern going here. Well, then, boom, I got something and something bites it. And I'm like, oh, man. I was like, I can't turn this thing. I was throwing it on a spinning rod. And, 10-pound test had my drag set pretty loose because I like to keep it pretty loose. Actually, I think it's 8-pound test on there. It is. It's 8-pound test on there. So I was like, oh, man. I was like, and just pull and drag out. And I'm like, what is this thing? And then it was real clear water. You could see about 10 to 15 foot. And I was like, what is this? And then I seen it shaking his head. And I was like, oh, man. My son's 8 years old. And I was like, get the net. I was like, this thing's a giant. So he's like back there trying to get the net out. And I'm just, working this thing in. There ain't much I can do. It's sitting there pulling the drag out. And I can't really turn it. I'm like, I can't turn this thing, And I can see it down there. I just can't get it up to me to really see what it is. I see it's thrashing its head. And I'm like, this is a giant bass, I didn't even think about a walleye because I didn't know there was walleye in there. But I'm like, my goodness, I'm thinking, this is a 7 and 8 pound bass. But, I'm seeing its head shake. And then as it starts getting up closer and closer and closer, I'm like, man, that thing's real skinny too. I was like, it's got a big old head on it, but it's skinny. And then finally, when I get it up to see what it is, my son's like, what is that, Daddy? And I'm like, that's a walleye, son. That's a walleye. And he's like, oh, wow, that is awesome. So that was pretty cool to get to see his first walleye. I actually didn't see my first walleye until I was, 13 or 14 years old, actually, out of pit number 39. The first one I seen a walleye caught out of it was about 15 inches long. So we get the walleye boated. And don't catch anything else out of that section. Work our way all the way back around, back into the west section. And then we work our way up to the north on that east bank over there. There's a good laydown right in there. And that's a good bank I've caught a lot of fish off of. And I catch another little bass. So then my son's like, Dad, I won. I was like, well, just let me see if we catch one more. Keep throwing that. We'll see if that's working. So then I catch one more. I forget where it was. I think it might have been a crappie. No, I caught another bass. And then he's like, oh, I want it. So I tied him on one. Then he started throwing it, and then he caught a crappie. And so he was pumped. He caught a crappie. He's like, this is awesome. Yes. So we worked our way down through the pit, worked our way all the way to the north side. Not all the way to the north side. It doesn't go all the way. And we couldn't go through the cut through right in there in the middle. When you look on Google Earth, you can see it there. There's a little middle section. You can't get through there right now with a bass boat, a kayak. I don't even know if you can get through there with a kayak. If you get out and drag it, you can get through there with a scamp or a kayak. But you have to get out of the boat and drag it up over, and that's the same way with the very north section. Once you get to the west end, the very north side, it's shallow right now, and you'd have to get out of your kayak and probably pull it over. Same my scamp, for sure. You'd have to get out and pull it through. So that's where we caught them at. All down through there. Like I said, we caught 15 bass, 4 crappie, and 1 walleye. Just was pretty excited to get on here and show you the walleye. Here's a lot of the pictures of the bass. I'll just spread them out through there too, the bass and the crappie throughout the video. Since I didn't get the videos of them, wish I had the videos for you guys so you can see how to work that big hammer ringer worm, our 2-inch, not ringer worm, but 2-inch big hammer swim bait. I did do a video if you guys want to go look that up. Back just here a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, somewhere in there, a month ago, I forget when I did it. Me and my wife went out, she froze to death, and I threw that 2-inch to do a promotional video on it. And that's what got me onto that trout color, and I absolutely love the trout color. I need to take that trout color in a bigger swim bait, and I need to take it into trout pit, even with that littler one. Might get some big bass out of trout pit with it. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll have some more pit breakdowns coming soon for you guys. It's been a real busy month. Baseball's got started with the sun. My fishing got started, so it's just been busy. We're on the go. My son's, he's in baseball. He's on 2 different baseball teams, so we're pretty much doing baseball every night of the week. So trying to fit time in between there and my fishing all in there is just an absolute mess and disaster. So hopefully I'll get those to you. One of these days I will get every pit broke down for you guys. But here is one that has a walleye in it for sure. It had one. I don't know how many else it's got in it, but it's got one. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for tuning in.